Welcome. This is my favorite mortgage podcast. I am Jamie Booth, a licensed loan officer in Arizona and Texas, and we are doing a field trip for today's podcast. We decided when we are in the middle of February with 71-degree weather, why not get out and kind of rub it in to all of our listeners that are dealing with snow and cold weather. So thank you for joining. I have a returning guest with us today, Miss Eunice Gillis.
Hi, everybody.
Licensed Realtor here in Southern Arizona. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Always a pleasure, always a lot of fun. I just really enjoy coming and shooting the breeze with you.
Yeah, and then look where we're at. I mean,
my favorite mountain views right here.
Yeah. This is Mount Lemmon. We've got Push Ridge behind us. This is in Oro Valley, just north of Tucson. It's still considered Tucson, right? Or is it?
It's Oro Valley at this point, but a lot of people, you know, for ease of sake, they say Tucson. You know, and we say northeast. So,
yeah. Okay. So we want to go over kind of what it's like to relocate here. We have a lot of military personnel that are relocating here, and how we make the process easy with kind of the areas that are around. You do a lot of FaceTime videos for people that are relocating here, sight unseen a lot of the times.
Yes, a lot of the times, yes. So we are basically their eyes and ears. We try to capture as much of what they're looking for. We look for any red flags. We point them out as best as we can. We bring in the best inspectors to help through that process. And you know, as real estate agents, there's certain things, of course, conversations that we cannot have, but we are the source of any information that they need, and we get that over to them so they can make their own decisions educated decisions based on the things that we can forward to them.
Can you give us an example of something that you're not allowed to talk about or share with a potential
Yes,
person
so
moving?
One of the things that we hear a lot is, you know, we want to live somewhere safe. And unfortunately, because that is so subjective, that what we do is we send them what's called a buyer advisory, and has multiple links and things like that that they can inquire about, like schooling, neighborhood information,
like crime rates,
and things like that. I mean, we live in a beautiful town. I've lived here for over 40 years, and I love every single corner of it, no matter where it is. So I think it's just more making them feel comfortable, at ease, getting them familiar, more in the aspect of what amenities are you looking for? Right. What is your lifestyle? You know, what are the things that you enjoy doing? Hiking, golf, dinners, you know, lunches, shopping. Those are the things that we really focus on, and what areas are gonna more embrace that lifestyle for them.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of avid cyclers, motorcycles.
Right.
Myself, you know, with my husband, we go motorcycle riding. So we know all the little places to go for these amazing rides out in the country. You know,
what kind of motorcycle do you guys
We have a Harley Street Glide.
Okay.
So we really do enjoy going
Do you have a
riding.
sidecar?
No sidecar. No sidecar. So I ride the back, of course, and we love going up to Bisbee, Tombstone, Sonoita.
You kind of sit in a chair and you just relax.
Just relax, and I've got our helmets on, and of course be safe. You know, get our full gear on. They say, you know, you don't dress for the ride, you dress for the slide, as they say. So we have our full leathers on, and so we're just always, you know, making sure that we follow all safety, you know, protocols when it comes to that. So
we'll touch on that. I'm so not real estate or mortgage. Lane splitting. What's your opinion on lane splitting with motorcycles?
So in Arizona, that law just changed. Lane splitting is only allowed when traffic is stopped. And the reason for that, you just, of course, be very diligent, be very careful while you're doing it. But it's because when motorcycles idle for too long, they tend to overheat. So that gives a cyclist an opportunity to get to the front of the pack. It also lessens their risk of injury by getting in front of the vehicles instead of getting caught behind in between vehicles, which a lot of times that can cause an accident.
So in Arizona, it used to not be legal?
Correct.
And now, as long as there's a stop traffic at a light or something,
they can lane split. But of course, they have to be conscious of and be on the lookout, be offensive, defensive, offensive while they're doing it.
Right at your own risk,
Right
guys.
at your own risk. But for example, if they're caught in traffic on the freeway and it's a complete stop, they can lane split there too. But of course, everything safely.
All right. Does your husband lane split?
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But he's always very careful, very, very careful. So.
And this time of year too is when we see a lot of bikes out on the road.
Yes.
Because they are enjoying this weather and they're going to the nice towns. I see a lot of riders going up to Sedona. And Tombstone is another one.
Sedona is a beautiful ride. Anywhere going up to Flagstaff, Sholo, Payson is another really fun ride. Going that road up there. So just always head on swivel. Yeah, just always pay attention to the road.
Yeah.
And what's your surroundings.
I did not know we were going to go down this route.
I know.
Right? But if you guys
it's not
have
just
any
real
questions about riding in southern Arizona, I know we've talked about it before. I see pictures on your social about your rides. Do you have your own bike?
I don't. No.
Do you know how to ride your own bike?
I don't, and I keep away from riding my own motorcycles. I'm so accident prone. I'm just two left feet, and I'm clumsy, and I fall and trip. So
This is why I love her. I'm so the same.
So I just say, I'll just no.
You just be a passenger. Yeah.
That's just me.
Well, thank you again for coming on. I know we like to start off with some dad jokes, and we're in our sunglasses. The only thing we're missing are our coffee mugs.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yes.
So, all right, here's one. Okay. Okay. What do you do with a sick chemist?
I don't know. What do you do with a sick chemist?
Well, if you can't heal him and you can't crunny him, then you might bury him. I messed that one up so bad.
Oh my gosh.
How do you say the middle one?
Oh my gosh.
If you can't heal him and you can't curry him.
Curry him.
All right. Well,
okay.
I haven't looked at the periodic table in like decades.
Oh my gosh.
Forgive me on that one.
Barium.
Speaking of education, I just saw that you finished a specialized education in real estate.
I did.
And what is the award that you just, not award, certificate, I would say.
It's a certificate of achievement for 2024. So as real estate agents, we have continuous education that we have to complete every 2 years.
Right.
And
so do we. We've got a lot of that.
So it's a requirement that we have to complete what's called 24 hours of continuous education within a 2-year time frame. And I completed 57 hours within 1 year.
Ooh.
So not only did I complete my required 24 hours in a year, but I also completed 30 plus additional hours of continuous education. And when you do such a task, by the Arizona Association of Realtors, you earn a recognition of Education Achievement Award.
Gotcha.
So I was able to obtain that.
I know you've got like relocation specialist, military specialist,
luxury specialist.
Yeah.
So I have a certification, senior residential specialist certification, pricing strategy advisor certification, military relocation specialist, and luxury specialist as well. So luxury doesn't mean multi-million-dollar homes or anything like that. It's just that you're able to work with a vast and various different scopes of real estate. So.
Sorry, we had Town. We see the recycling truck is out. Oh my gosh! Surprised we're not hearing aircraft too, right? We're by the Air Force Base, so
we'll probably hear a jet at some point. We'll stay long enough, but yeah,
a chopper.
But yes, so yes, many certifications, but that is just. Not for me, but more so that I'm ready and able to help my clients no matter what the circumstance,
what their scenario, is, or what they're looking to do when they move here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I would say, my new assistant and I were chatting yesterday. We have a pre-approved buyer, and we work with all realtors, but we have our specialized realtors because we know that you guys are full-time. This is your career. You know the market. You're reading up on the market. You're staying in touch. So when we were asking this buyer, who's your realtor, it was just a friend. And, we started asking some really tough questions, like, how many deals did this person do? How long have they been a realtor? Is this their full-time job? Is this part-time? Because statistically, you work with someone who's part-time. Yes, there are some good, so don't come after me for that. But if you're working a 9 to 5 and shit starts hitting the fan, you can't get on the phone to negotiate that deal, to save the deal, to work together because you're unavailable.
Yes, and we've experienced that together where, as an expert, our clients will never know the chaos that is happening behind scenes when a deal is just imploding, and deals implode specifically because of that, where someone is maybe not as savvy or trained on how to navigate through those obstacles and those challenges that can arise. We have VA loans, conventional loans, FHA loans. There's certain specifications that come with an FHA loan that you as a lender know the rules and the scope of the lending aspects of it, but us as agents understand the housing needs of those particular type buyers.
The property requirements.
The property requirements, the red flags, what will show up on a VA, Tidewater, for example.
Well, let me stop you right there. Let's explain to people that are listening, what is Tidewater?
Tidewater is where the appraiser, the VA appraiser comes in and they're not finding comps to support the purchase price. And so we are given an opportunity to present or get together with, if I'm on the list side or the buy side, it gives the listing agent an opportunity to present the comparisons to support that purchase price. So as a buyer's agent and someone who takes 3 to 4 appraisal classes every year, I can honestly say I think I've had in my 5 years almost that I've been doing real estate only 2 Tidewaters. And
one of them was our deal.
One was our deal. And it was 100% accurate because I had already prepared my buyer for this because I knew if it didn't qualify under how it was listed and it went the other direction, we were prepared. And
so it wasn't a surprise.
It wasn't a surprise.
Right.
It wasn't a surprise, and we were correct in our initial research that it was probably not going to appraise as it was listed. And so because of that, we were able to negotiate and kind of scramble and get it all sorted out. And
I think that's a tough pill to swallow when you're a seller and you've got an agent that said, oh, it's worth this much, and maybe didn't do all that due diligence to find out what the comps are. And so the seller in their head, they get, oh, I'm going to make
X dollar amount.
Right, this amount, and then we have to be the bearer of bad news that it didn't appraise for that price.
Correct.
And VA is the only one that gives us that small window of opportunity to say, prove it.
Prove it.
You don't get that on other appraisals.
You don't get that on other appraisals. Also, when it comes to any type of a repair, they also give you that opportunity to correct it before making that final decision on there.
And I think from the seller's standpoint, when they're seeing this dollar amount that they've been hoping for and wishing for, they get the offer that they want, and then we have to come back and say, the value isn't there. As a seller, it's disappointing to say, well, I'm not going to get this money. And they start planning, what am I going to do with this? What debts am I going to pay off?
Okay.
And I think that's also, coming back to who you work with matters, and the part-time, person who doesn't know how to even answer what Tidewater is why it's so extremely important to work with someone who this is their career. They're living and breathing, they're understanding the market. They understand how fast things change.
Yes.
Day to day. And what worked yesterday on an offer
doesn't work today.
And that ability to shift and change is crucial in getting that person's contract accepted.
You're almost like a shapeshifter in a transaction, because you have to be able to just go from a real high to a real low in a matter of like seconds or even a day.
Yeah.
And to keep that same level of coolness through each of those highs and lows, you get really good at it.
Yeah.
But the best part is that your clients never see that. Behind the scenes, you might punch a wall, but they'll never know. And then that's our job. That's our job too. That's when you're a professional, that they don't even realize all this is going on in the background.
Right.
They just know that you came across as the one who got it done. And
that's
everything
what they'll
else,
remember.
That's what they'll remember. Yeah. And you really don't want them to remember the bad side of it. So by being prepared and just, you always prepare for, you want the best outcome, but myself as a professional will always prepare for what could possibly go wrong and how I'm going to address it. So it's almost like we're mind readers in a sense of projecting what could happen in that path.
Yeah. You always have plan B in your back pocket.
Yes, exactly.
Always.
Always.
And that's what, we've worked together for so many deals that I see that. Mm-hmm. So, when we were talking to this buyer and they're telling us, their friend or couldn't say what their last name was, doesn't know how long. And that's where I'm like, when you work with me, I'm going to require that you work with a professional. Mm-hmm. And it's going to behoove you. It's going to make the whole deal seamless. It is going to make that experience of buying a house, which is already stressful, less stressful. Mm-hmm. And maybe require is the wrong word. All right, don't come at me for that one either. But I'm going to make the suggestion and really try to have you see the value of a full-time professional in it career versus 4 deals over the last 20 years and they hang their license for whatever reason.
Right.
And we're not going to get that person into contract. We're going to get all these documents and pre-qual and we're going to get them ready, but then the schedule doesn't permit and they're missing out on deals. They can't see the house. They're basically on their own. They're going to sign another lease more times than not and not buy that house.
And it's not to say that we have some exceptional real estate agents out there. This is not to bash or this is not to discredit or anything like that. But this is more just, when you're making the biggest purchase and one of the biggest choices in your life, you want that best representative of whatever that industry has to offer.
You mentioned comparison from a specialized surgeon, doctor.
A good example, you can have 1,000 transactions, but be the worst. You could have 20 transactions and be the best. So it's. I don't see it as transactional, more in the scope of, do you understand me? Do you understand my needs? Can you rise up to the level of my needs as a consumer, as a client? And I have very unique or special circumstances, and do you know how to navigate through that? Right. And that's where my training comes in. Yes. And that's why I focus on my training, so that when those special circumstances arise, I know how to navigate through there.
Right. Thank you for that. And I want to put my asterisk. I'm not saying, there's part-time ones that are bad. I'm just saying that the odds are, and the numbers really don't lie, because we've taken enough pre-quals over the last 15 years where maybe they're not working with the partner that I've aligned myself with. We see them signing leases, or we don't ever get them to that finish line. But if I see that they're working with Eunice, I'm like 100% certain it's such a shift, and it's such a okay, they're good. They're good.
You almost feel like, okay, sense of relief.
Yes.
They're in good hands.
Yes.
And that's the objective, that you want them to know that they're in good hands, that all the work that everybody's doing behind the scenes, it's not going to fall apart. And goodness gracious, I'm I've had them fall apart myself, but it wasn't due to anything that we did wrong. And I think that's the difference, right? Yeah. It has nothing to do that anything that we did not help them prepare for or be ready for. There were just circumstances that were outside of our control, right, that we couldn't
and that's
help
just life.
them through that. Yeah.
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 That's just life.
But yeah, it just, you know, life stuff just happens all the time.
Well, again, thank you for coming to the park today.
This is fun. I like the park.
I think I was just like, I don't want to be in the office, and you know.
Yeah, we have these gorgeous views behind us, and I love watching all the little doggies running around.
There's so many people walking their dogs.
And it's gorgeous. I think it was 60 degrees when I pulled up, but now it feels like it's 75.
It is getting hotter. Yeah, warm. I can feel the heat. But you know what? When we have to deal with the 115-degree weather, this is what it's for.
Yeah. That's another question I get. Speaking of 115-degree weather, a lot of clients will say, what do you do when the weather gets really hot? And I said, well, I think you prepare for it just like people prepare for the winter.
That's right.
You know, you just adjust your schedule according to whatever the weather is going to be, and you just prepare for that. You do things a little earlier, you do things at night. And in the middle of the day, you really just don't do a whole lot.
You kind of stay indoors.
It's the
exact opposite, where, a lot of people up north and the rest of the country come out in the summer. Mm-hmm. We hide.
Mm-hmm. We hide.
And we come out in the winter.
Yes. We're just opposite.
We're like Australia. But our water flows the same.
Yes, exactly. We don't prepare any different for someone who's preparing for winter. We prepare for the summer.
You make sure your air conditioning filters, you got your Freon. You
carry water with you.
Yep, water out all the time. I know Michelle has her water bottle like it's a blanket, a security blanket.
Yeah, you carry your water, you make sure your tires are good, and just prepare.
It's funny. Something that we do that we subconsciously do that we don't even know is when we're parking at a grocery store or something, we're scanning for the shade.
For the shade. Exactly.
We don't scan for the closest. I'm like, I don't care if I have to walk. You scan for the shade. Mm-hmm. And our sun visors, it's like just
automatic.
Automatic.
Just pull that
sun
out.
Visors.
Yeah. And don't wear shorts and get into a car with leather seats.
Leather seats. No. Oh, that'll
Not
burn
that I
your
haven't done that before.
We've all done it, though. We've all done it. And your steering wheel, you're like,
So we have our oven mitts to dry our car. But I love Arizona. I love everything that Arizona has to offer. It's beautiful here. I've been here for, give away my age. 40, 43, 44, 45 years.
You don't look old enough.
You
were born here. Yeah.
Basically. I think I've been here long enough to consider myself a
native.
A native.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you all for listening and tuning in. This is My Favorite Mortgage Podcast. We are streaming on YouTube, all major platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music. Please like, rate, and share. And guys, if you're interested in relocating, done shoveling snow and having to deal with salt and on the roads and rust, we don't get rust. I don't know if you guys...
Or maybe you want to ride your motorcycle more, or maybe you want to get on your bicycle more.
Feel free to reach out. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram. myfavemortgage@gmail.com is our email. Eunice, thank you again for having a field trip with me.
Always fun.
And we'll do this more often until it gets to 115. Yeah. And then we'll go indoors.
Thanks,
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.